Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Wonderful people like you who enjoy this show send pledges in the form of super chats, super stickers, super thanks, PayPal or Cash App. Instructions for how to help are in the description. You can also join our Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month you can get extra content. Patreon supporters get a backstage pass, early access to all our production videos before they are distributed publicly, Stephen Campion's music, private writings, a monthly show journal, and more. You can also become a YouTube channel member for $5 a month. A YouTube membership includes all of the Patreon benefits, plus a special members badge, priority reply to video comments, and the live chat, plus a monthly members-only video. We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors, for supporting Truthseekers. Thank you for your generosity and support. Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Now there's a great way to support these broadcasts and show your support. Please be sure and check out our merchandise store. Links to our 2 merchandise online stores are in the links to this video or podcast. The Amazon storefront ships super quickly in the United States, Great Britain, and in many more places. Amazon may not ship to your country or location. If that's the case, hit our second merchandise link in the description and visit our Redbubble storefront. Merchandise from our Redbubble storefront ships worldwide, but may take longer than Amazon. We've got a great deal of super high quality merchandise for you to choose from, including t-shirts, phone cases, sweatshirts, and even pillows. The feedback from our products have been overwhelmingly great. Quality products and fast shipping. People all over the world are buying some merchandise and showing their support of the show. Praise the cash! Praise the cash! Praise the cash! We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors who are buying some merchandise and helping us to continue this journey. Thanks for being here. This is Truthseekers with your host, Stephen Campion. Please rate, like and comment on our videos or podcasts. If you are listening to an audio podcast, please rate us 5 stars to help us rise in the search rankings. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to an audio podcast, we love and appreciate you listeners, but you are missing the live tapings. All our shows are recorded live with video feed. We'd love you to come be a part of our live broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. Head on over to YouTube, click the search tool, the little magnifying glass, put Truthseekers, one word in the search bar, and hit enter. You'll see a strange and mysterious guy with sunglasses. That means you found the channel. Go there, smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to receive up-to-date info on our YouTube channel. We welcome you to be a part of our live taping and our chat room during the live broadcasts. Seek the truth. Speak the truth. This is Truthseekers. Truthseekers.
Greetings and salutations, fellow truth seekers, and boy, do we have a special interview for you today. So special, in fact, that I violated my normal routine, which is sleeping till noon. I couldn't do that today because of the time difference. So I have been watching today's guest for quite some time and laughing all along the way. Somebody sent me early on when she just started doing this Intel Lady channel, somebody sent me some of her content, and I just cracked up because she was doing some similar things to what I was doing, which is to do sort of skits making fun of some of the ridiculous characters in conspiracy land. And I got to say, it was, first of all, it was nice to know that I'm not alone in my insanity, because there's somebody else just as insane as me doing sort of skits and comedic takes on some of the ridiculous characters in conspiracy land. And I think that we need more of that in the community. When somebody is out there just saying absolutely ridiculous things, they should be investigated, and they should be talked about, and we should share some of the ridiculousness of what it is that they do. Interestingly, I've just noticed that she's also expanding, and now I've seen in the live chat we have M Seeker of Truth with us. So shout out to M Seeker of Truth. She's on his show and doing something called Grift Busters, which is kind of a laugh riot, again, looking at the ridiculousness of some of these characters and busting the grifts and the cons and the scams out there in the community. So without further ado, let's bring her in with us. Intel Lady is here.
Hey.
Greetings and salutations. I was almost scared that you were going to show up as Simon Parks.
I mean, I could.
1 second, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
I have to. I have no heat in this room. And
Oh, no.
suddenly it's winter, so I don't want that. The audio files will get nasty if there's that fan noise in the background. Yeah.
I was gonna say I can be Lyman if you want me to.
I love this. She's got a sweep over rug wig, like bald wig thing that she uses. And I love the one video with like the cat noises and stuff like that. This is my favorite.
Yeah, I have to say, Lyman is my favorite character to play. I love doing it.
You know, maybe you can help and give me some insight into the latest happenings with Simon Parks, because I saw or listened to some kind of, like, was it a Clubhouse private chat that somebody captured?
Yeah,
where he's talking about med beds, and last I heard, there's some kind of plan where he's opening healing centers all across the United States with med bed technology. And people, for those that don't know, this med bed thing is all over conspiracy land, and it's one big scam. And a lot of people are getting in on this scam. You know, we're hearing that you can regrow limbs, you can cure cancer, you can age regress yourself 20 years, and he's jumping on this and saying that he's going to open these healing centers across the United States. Do you know more about his latest garbage intel?
Well, you know, I did actually make the official MedBeds advert. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's the official one. So I think, well, I'm probably not the best person to ask about all of this. But as far as I am aware, because the plan changes, as you know, he'll say one thing 1 month and then something completely different another month, because there was a credible threat of a suitcase bomb, actually. So we were unable to roll out the med beds. There was a problem here. There's always a very convenient reason why.
Yeah. You know, I heard him say he's going to focus on taking down the government first.
Of course.
So first he has to take down the evil cabal government that is preventing everybody from getting access to this technology. Yeah. Then he's going to roll out the technology. And right now it's all being stored in underground bases because it's sensitive of technology to store above ground somehow.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because of course the government that he supported that were there for 4 years, for some reason they didn't want to roll the med beds out with a world leader that was the good guy.
The alliance president, yes.
Yeah, but now we're trying ever so hard to roll it out under the bad guy. The mind boggles.
It makes no sense.
It's wonderful, isn't it? It's so fun for me because I'll just hear it. I've got the best people who send me stuff, so they do the dirty work for me.
Me too.
So
yeah,
I don't have to watch. Yeah. I don't have to give them clicks. So other people will come in, they'll listen to it, and then they'll go, right here, this is what they're saying this week. Oh God, it's just it's amazing. Just listening to it, it's like
I always found amazing about Simon Parkes is that I have friends and family that are into the Boo Anon 17th letter of the alphabet. We don't even say it here because YouTube doesn't like
Boo.
it.
Mm-hmm. It's Boo.
Yeah, Boo. Okay, so I have friends and family that were into Boo, and they started sending me his takes on the Boo thing. And I had to go to like literal friends and family and say, do you know that before he was a geopolitical expert on this Boo phenomenon, he was banging cat queen aliens and having alien hybrids? And they didn't believe me. I had to find videos of him talking about, being his mom was an alien and he's part mantid and part, I don't know, fairy. And, it's just kind of ridiculous. And most of the people that were he started saying that stuff, and then he switched over to the Boo Anon thing, and then all the people that were Boo Anon people had no idea, most of them, that he used to be talking about having alien hybrid babies and banging aliens, and it's kind of bizarro, right?
Yeah. The driving instructor from Whitby, who has a cat queen girlfriend that he meets up with, he rendezvous with 4 times a year. And all these people that you're talking about, Christian conservatives here, hadn't got a clue that this is the same person. This man with the most incredible knitwear collection is affiliated with MI5, MI6, the CIA.
Yeah,
and
Simon
aliens.
Parkes with his mantid alien mother. This is before the Boo Anon stuff and him becoming a geopolitical expert suddenly. Mm-hmm. This is his mom, the mantid alien, who also facilitated him to have like VR holographic sex when he was 12 or something like that.
6. He was 6.
Oh, he was 6 years old when he started having VR holographic sex with other aliens, right? It's just so bizarro. And these people that followed him for the Boo Anon stuff had no idea, most of them, that this is the other stuff that he used to talk about, right?
It's
like they reinvent themselves when the grift runs out. They need a new grift. This is my favorite depiction of this cat queen alien. I like that.
She's
very
lovely,
very sexy.
Yeah. I can see the appeal. I can see what what he was going for. His poor wife, though, because his wife was aware of this. I don't know if you watched.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, and I heard that she was like jealous of him banging an alien, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would be, wouldn't you? Or confused.
I gotta ask my wife. Do you get a pass if you're cheating on your wife, but it's a cat queen alien that you're banging?
Funnily enough, they're not married anymore. He moved on. He moved on to another lady.
I noticed a lot of the UFO conspiracy crowd guys are getting divorced. I think the money's drying up, right? While the money's good, they're okay with their husbands being wackadoos on the internet. But once that money starts drying up, they're not happy.
I'm still surprised that David Wilcock's still married after the way he speaks to his wife during his life.
I know. This camera angle. What are you doing? This microphone. The sound is better from this one. Elizabeth. I love it. My favorite was when he was trying to stage whisper to her, like give her direction. But the mic was too hot, and he got caught on a hot mic going, say some shit. While they were doing a global peace meditation, and he just walks near her and he says, say some shit. Say some shit. And somebody like made a song out of it, say some
Oh, I need to see that. I need to see that. Because I never, ever, ever watch any of his things all the way through. I can't. I just, no, I won't. Imagine trying to meditate to that voice.
I subject myself to 4 hours of torture every time he does one of those 4-hour streams because I'm just crazy like that.
You're taking one for the team there.
The newest is the hover car scam, which is great because he's got a guy named Bill McEwen, and you may remember a computer called Amiga. It was very popular in England. This guy bought the corpse of what was left of Amiga after it went bankrupt, and then he scammed the computer community for like 10 years, promising all kinds of products that he never delivered. That's the chief operating officer of the company that David Wilcock is now involved with, and he claims they're going to have a hover car in a year, even though that company hasn't made an airplane in 25 years that they've been in business, and they're an airplane company. It's great.
Yeah. It's I feel a David Shilcon in an empty aircraft hangar sketch coming on very soon.
yeah. I was going to do something similar, but I got to get it better. I started doing the masks and stuff, and that the early David Wilcock one that I did was just terrible. I got to do a better one with bigger teeth.
Yeah.
And you're also doing Carrie Cassidy, which is a whole different can of crazy. Her crazy.
Oh, I just love how not asked she is. She's just not. She can't be asked anymore. She's just like, yeah, hello. I'm talking about something. I don't know. I'm just. That's how her whole attitude is. I
love how she gets angry when people question her, and she starts like dressing them down. Like, I am an investigative journalist.
I'm an independent journalist.
I'm an independent journalist. Yeah, you do her character better than I did. It was great. Yeah, and she. Now she's in the ghetto, though. She started her own website, and there's no traffic if you're not on YouTube. You need to be on YouTube to generate traffic to get people to go behind your paywall, and she just disappeared. Unfortunately, a lot of that content, 20 years worth of content went with her, which is unfortunate, but she would not stop talking about things that she knew she shouldn't talk about. So I don't feel bad for her getting stricken from YouTube. She did it to herself with medical disinformation too, with known crackpots talking about the current health crisis. It was bound to happen, right?
Yeah, I didn't watch her too much, to be honest. I watched little bits and bats, probably more older stuff, when she was interviewing Simon Parkes and that kind of stuff. So that's all I need to get a measure of somebody. I just need a little bit, because it just doing my head in if I was listening to them constantly. But I did catch a few things that she did, a few interviews that she did. But I absolutely loved listening to, and I think it was you that played it, the phone call she had with Kevin Moore.
Yes, we did a whole show on that. That was so great because Kevin is brilliant. Kevin has his own strange and weird beliefs that I disagree with, but I respect the guy because he pushes people. And when he interviews them, it's so weird because he is so polite, but he's still pushing them. And she lost her mind on him. It was great. My other favorite video of hers is when she was arguing with Dr. Stephen Greer about whether aliens are like good or bad. And they went back and forth and they were arguing with each other for like 2 hours. It's great. Great video.
Oh, I've not seen that one. I can't stand Greer. But he's morphing. We talk of reptilians, but he is morphing into one. The latest pictures I've seen of Stephen Greer, I'm like, I see it. A little bit of
he's starting to look like an alien.
He is. It's quite horrifying, really. But yeah,
I think that Dr. Stephen Greer is the absolute winner in the UFO grifter con artist game because, first of all, he made $300,000 or $400,000 collecting money for a free energy device. He never delivered anything. He's collected millions of dollars to make films that don't cost anywhere near that. Like, ask any documentary film producer. If you had $1 million to make a documentary, it would be like the most well-produced, greatest documentary ever made. The documentaries don't cost anywhere near $1 million to make, especially his. It's just him sitting there talking and maybe a few other people sitting there talking. So you got a couple days of filming. You buy all that stock footage, you know, of like stars, fields and stuff, and you splice that in. It's not $1 million production. No. And then he used a dead alien baby, which is one of my favorite. It's not a dead alien baby. It's just a dead human fetus. He used that to scam for UFO dollars, comes out with a documentary all about it. And then literally like a month after the documentary comes out, all the DNA results show that it's just a human. Shouldn't he have waited like a month to finish the documentary, to put the results in the documentary? No, he, of course, on purpose, rushed the documentary before all the studies and the DNA was back so that he would make another $1 million+ and he has on that. And the latest is that my favorite of his scams is the latest one, because he collected $500,000 to make a documentary that basically was just him attacking everybody else in the UFO community that he disagrees with, and putting ads for his CE5 app where you too can talk to aliens for $10 all over the documentary. And people gave him $500,000 for this. It's amazing.
Yeah. No shame, some of them. It's I think I did see that and I was like, wow. He was doing little backhander swipes at everyone, wasn't he?
Yeah. And look, neighborhood troll. We have some people from England apparently with £4.99. I think that's £4.99. Says, put this towards your vacation. I don't think I'm planning on taking one, but I'll buy a beer with it. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. I want to ask you a strange question, because I don't know anybody else that's married that does some of this stuff. And I don't know about you and your husband. I know you're married to an American guy, which made me curious. Like, does that mean no English dudes wanted you? Like, you had to slum and get an American? First of all, and second of all, like, what does your husband think of this stuff you're doing on the internet? Because my wife is just like, you're insane. All these people you talk to are crazy and insane. She has no idea what's going on in my life with this stuff. What about your husband?
No, he's cool with all of it. He thinks it's funny. He doesn't understand it. I think sometimes he's like, oh God, when I'm trying to explain people and what they're saying. And
isn't it great? You're like, all right, listen, there's this guy that bangs cat queen aliens and he's kind of bald and has a weird sweep over. So I'm going to do this mask thing. I'm going to put on my head and then I'm going to talk about aliens and cats, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is now his normal. We have so many different props and jumpers and wigs and everything else just dotted around the house now. He's just like, oh
yeah, I got a big bin full of masks and my kids get into it sometimes. And it's so funny because like a few weeks ago, my youngest son was running around as Dr. Stephen Greed. He didn't put the glasses on and he's running around and he knows some of it. He's like, I'm greedy. I'm greedy. I'm greedy. Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh, that's so cute. No, I think, well, even my children are like, they know what I do. And, you know, they're fine. They think it's all quite funny, really. They do ask me, they know some of my character names and stuff. And so they'll ask me about it and stuff. But obviously they don't really understand, you know.
They don't understand the specifics because it really is a weird niche market that you're making these for, because somebody would have to understand the characters in Conspiracy Land to get the context to understand why it's even funny. Otherwise, it's just you talking about weird stuff in a weird getup, right? It's like doing a bald mask.
And, you know, I didn't mean to do this. I never, you know, I didn't start 2021 going, right, I'm gonna set up a satire YouTube channel.
Me neither. I fell into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, because I'm more on the spiritual side of things, which I know, you know.
Oh, I know. That's something that's even weirder is that you have another channel that is like very, very woo. And at the risk of getting lynched again, do you know, I had somebody that did tarot cards on my show and people lost their mind. I know. Only a few people, but a few people lost their minds, right? And you do that. You do tarot cards.
I don't do tarot. No, I do. oracle cards. So I have tarot decks, but I don't really use them. I prefer oracle cards. I just like the artwork on them more, and I just work better with them, I think. But so that's how I discovered who all these people are, because obviously I was in that community. And what
you were
I've
in the woo
noticed
space first. Yeah,
I was in woo land. And I'm quite lucky, really, because even though that is my thing, and that, you know, that's my passion, I'm quite a grounded person, and I am surrounded with very cynical people who question everything I say and do. And
I know the
like
feeling.
my husband will go, "Okay, Jen, you know, explain this to me. Where's, you know, are you sure about that?" And the guy who edits my videos, he does exactly the same thing to me. He's like, "Right. Are you sure about that? Do you want to?" And in fact, they're both in my house at the moment in another room, probably nodding along, going, "Yeah, we do." So yeah, I know that I have some very woo ideas about things, and you know, I have a house full of crystals, Stephen, and all sorts
You're
of
gonna
stuff.
get me lynched. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I agree with you that you're a bit more grounded, because
Yeah,
I didn't know that you had that channel, and then somebody was like, "She's not," you know. There's always some critic.
Of
Somebody
course.
sent me something like they were slagging you, like, "Look, she's not who you think she is. She's as woo as all of them." And then they sent me a link, and I listened to it, and I went, "Well, this is like crystals and, you know, energy healing, and that's." But she's not like too nutty, you know.
No, I'm not. And you know, it's something that I've always had in my life since I was very, very young. I've always had very weird experiences, paranormal experiences, and I've always been looking for answers. And it's just, you know, it's a subject that interests me, but at the same time, I'm always challenged by the people closest to me, and I
think that's good, isn't it? It keeps you healthy and skeptical, and not just falling into like a belief system that may not be what it appears to be, or what it, you know. I don't know. I see too many people that get into some of this stuff and they go full tilt in, and they don't have anybody around them going, "Wait a minute." You know, like Simon Parks is the perfect example. I've done that for people. I've gone, "Wait a minute, before you believe what he's saying about this, look at what he used to talk about." And that sort of helps to wake them up. Like, yeah, maybe this is not what it appears to be. Right.
Well, I was shown Simon Parks when I had talked about an experience that I had on my other channel. And actually, before I'd even made the video about it, I was in a Facebook group that was very pro Bory no good. And that's what and it was like almost like his fan club on Facebook. And the group was called Meet Earth's Cosmic Neighbors. And I wonder if anyone in the chat was in that group or is aware of that group.
And for those that don't know, he on purpose, Corey Good started a whole bunch of Facebook groups. Him and his cult members started a whole bunch of Facebook groups, and they're all called something not Corey Good. They're all called like Disclosure Advocates Now, or what you're saying. And it really is just him generating a marketing list for himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I was in this group, and I asked a question: had anyone else experienced something that I had experienced? And people were like, there's this guy called Simon Parks who talks about something similar to what you're describing. And that's how I found him and started watching him. And I just remember, and I didn't know, I had not seen this documentary that he had done, this, what was it called? Confessions of an Alien Abductee was the documentary. I don't know, you can still find it. There's loads of clips of it all over the place.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I had not seen that. Even though that was released on a British TV channel, I hadn't seen that. I think it came out in 2013. And I had no idea. So I was right. Go and have a listen to this guy. You know, he really knows what he's talking about. And I remember watching him, thinking, what a peculiar man. You know, is like a strange looking man sitting in this little room in his house, wearing his jumpers, and talking about all these different things. And then there was loads, and then I found the interview that he'd done with Carrie Cassidy, and then a couple of other interviews came out later on, the creepy one that we talked about. And I thought, okay, I don't know what I think about him really. And then he changed his narrative completely. I suppose over the last year or so, he was talking about, you know,
I think he saw those Buanon numbers and went head first into the
I'm having some of that. Yeah. And then so suddenly it was, you know, not that his mum was an alien, but that his mum was MI5 and that his grandfather was MI6 or CIA.
That's his adoptive human family. His real mom and dad are still aliens. Yeah. And I love that there was a whole lot of rumors and accusations against him having, let's just say, problems with women. Mm-hmm. And then he blamed it on his alien daddy.
Who took over his body.
Yeah. Took over his body and made him hurt those women.
Had a little bit of
he said this.
Wandering hands, the wandering hands through him, but it wasn't him. It was dad.
It was the evil alien dad that was touching those women or doing whatever he was doing to those women. Yeah.
Yeah. It was amazing. But he kept that statement up. Dad out of my life forever, I think it was called.
Yeah,
kept that statement up on his website for all of a couple of hours.
I got a screenshot of it, and we did a whole show of it. So he's not getting out of that.
No, and then he took it down, of course, because we don't want to be associated with that anymore. We want to brush that one under the carpet, don't we? But
you're not getting many donations from women if it's known that you are an abuser of women.
Exactly.
Know? And I think a lot of these people have problems with women. I hear a lot of bad stories about people that have, let's just say, problems with women. You know, they're overly aggressive or whatever, and they prey on some of the audience members. It's very, very common that these guys think they're rock stars and they can just, I don't know, do whatever. You know. Yeah.
It is so common. You're right. It is really, really common in spiritual communities, and maybe ufology communities as well, but definitely in spiritual communities, there's a lot of preying on, I suppose, trusting that there's a lot of naive women that are very trusting, that will be taken in by it. And it's really sad, but it's very, very common.
Yeah, and I don't know. It makes me happy that I'm married and boring, you know. Like I have no. And the other thing is, to me, is like I think you have a responsibility as a public figure to not be a dirtball.
Yeah.
Especially because you know maybe people. I don't know. Our audience is all audiences in some of these genres are largely men, but we have women in our audience, and I want to be respectful of them, and also like as a you know if they're coming here and they like my show, they're not interested in anything. You know, more than that. But these guys take advantage of these women, and some of them, of course, you know, some of these women that are going to all these new age conferences are maybe a little mentally not right, vulnerable. You know, and they're vulnerable and they're searching for something.
They are, yeah.
And we've heard horror stories of people telling people like, "Oh, the aliens told me that we're supposed to have a baby together." So that he could like bareback them, you know, like that is gross.
Like you mean like because I watched that Emery Smith's side piece, as you called her, the side piece. Poor girl.
The side piece that he was barebacking. Yeah,
it's so sad. It's but it's not a surprise. See, because I was in the acting business for a long time. It's kind of similar in the acting world as well.
You know, I was in a few indie films and did some acting, and I was absolutely horrified at the way some of the females were treated.
Yeah.
You know, and now listen, I get it. Like, I was in some horror movies, and I get it that their purpose in the movie was sex appeal. You know, so you get these girls with these big breasts and put them in tight outfits, but still, you know, I would think that some of the directors or some of the crew people were so rude to these women, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, I'm glad I'm male, because nobody is, you know, nobody's putting me on a casting couch, Intel lady, right? They don't
but
care to put me on. It's very slimy. Yeah,
it's very real, and I experienced it quite a lot, really. And you can see how young, naive girls, I was very naive in my 20s, and you can see how young, naive girls can get roped into doing things that they wouldn't necessarily do.
Yeah.
Because they're told something or promised something, and oh no, everyone else is doing it. It's really, really sad and creepy. I was quite lucky, really, because I managed to body swerve a lot of creepiness, but you
were like dodging the slime balls that wanted some sex. Is that what you're saying? That's
well, yeah,
gross.
but also I had agents that were a bit, they didn't really care. They wanted the money, and so they would push you into, well, if you do this TV role. And I was offered a TV role, I think I was about 21, and he's like, this is a done deal, they've seen your photograph, that they want you in. It was for a period drama. And he's like, and I said, oh, okay. And he's like, you won't have many lines. It's, you know, it's not very taxing. It's just, you know, you're booked because of how you look. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, but, you know, obviously you will have to be topless because, you know, you'd be playing a prostitute. And I'm like, oh, whoa there, just a minute. Yeah. Because all 21-year-old me could think about was my wonderful parents telling all their work colleagues, hey, my daughter's in a period drama that's coming on to ITV and blah, blah, blah. And I realized,
you have to bail. Yeah. So did you bail because you didn't want to do the nudity? And I mean, that's
I just said no. I said, I'm not. Yeah. I won't take. I said that would be, because that would have been my first TV role,
and that's what you would have been known as. Yeah.
And then I would have been pigeonholed as, oh, she'll get them out. You know, she's not got a problem with.
She'll get them out. I love it.
She'll get them out on camera.
Boys out. Get those bad boys out. We'll get the cameras ready. Get them out.
And so I was like, no, I can't, because all I could imagine was the look of horror on my parents' face, and no, I couldn't do it, and I just didn't.
Yeah, I remember one film I did where the director suddenly decided to write a new scene and put the two girls that were the main protagonist girls in the movie in a shower scene together, and they were both like, we didn't sign up for this. And then he said, okay, well, you don't have to do it. But then he kept pressuring them for 2 weeks to do it. And eventually they did it. And I felt terrible. Like, I felt dirty. I wanted to get out of there, you know? And meanwhile, I have this part that was supposed to be the main male. And I have like 4 lines in the whole movie. It was really about the girls. I was just there to be a supporting character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't miss this. And I don't know about in England, but in the United States, everybody thinks they're a director. So there's all these basically there's a lot of like rich trust fund kids that wake up one day and decide they're a director and they're going to make a movie. And that you go there. I got hired a bunch of times for projects. They never finished the movie because they just didn't have the ability to actually make a movie, but they tried. So I drove 12 hours someplace, and and you know how it is. You wait around for 12 hours for your one thing. It's exhausting.
For your one line.
Someday I'm going to try it again, but I decided I'm going to be the director, and I'll get the project done at least, you know?
Yeah. You want to be in that position rather than the cattle. That's how you feel, like you're just like cattle being one place to the next. Yeah. It's interesting. I'm glad that I was able to see that for what it was, though. I was sort of relieved in the end when I got pregnant with my son, and I was like, well, that's it for me. End of the line. And you know,
well, I don't know. A lot of women bounce back. My wife is still the same weight, and you know that she was after 2 kids. She's amazing. I was surprised, and I don't know.
She's a lucky woman, then, isn't she?
I'm a lucky man. Yeah, she's, you know.
It's not anything I don't think I could. There's so much pressure in that industry as well, and you know, no, I don't miss it. I like the control that I have now doing what I'm doing. I can still be creative. I can still write.
That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like I stumbled into the perfect gig for me because I have all these skills that I wasn't using. Like I'm good at video editing. I'm good at making music and scoring a video piece, or I'm good at graphics. You know, I've done some acting. And so I went, I'll just make my own career here somehow, you know? And you're right. We're both completely in control. We don't want to do something. We just don't do it.
We just don't do it.
Yeah. We don't have somebody pressuring us like, take them out. Take them out. Look at the cameras. Pop those bad boys out. Oil them up. We'll get you some water, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start with wet t-shirt and move on. You know, it's really, yeah. But unfortunately, the industries are like that because sex really does sell.
Yeah.
You know, that's just the reality.
The silly thing is that for that one that I refused, it was for a reputable TV channel, and it had, top actors in it and everything else. It was, it was just the fact that would have been the role that I played. And
yeah, you were the meat. Yeah, basically.
And
you were going to be the meat.
That's what I would get the reputation for. You can book her again, she'll do that again. And I thought, no, I wanted to work for the RSC. That was where my head was at.
Yeah, to do more serious projects. Right?
I did not want to be, second prostitute from the left. That wasn't. That was not what I trained for.
Says Steve felt so bad he had to get out of the shower. No, I wasn't in the shower in the scene. I was married at the time, and I don't think my wife would have appreciated that. No, we had certain rules of things I was allowed to do and not allowed to do. And I wasn't allowed to do anything like simulated sex or, makeout scenes or anything like that. So that severely limits your leading man ability.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can't do this. You go through scripts and you go, no, can't do this one. So back to the skits that you're doing. Do you have plans to expand and do more characters and things we haven't seen yet? Or are you going to stick with your crew that you got?
I think, I'm on character 13 now. I think I've got 13 different characters. And yes, I would like to expand out of the grifter circle, because it's, I don't want to just keep doing the same thing. It would be nice to, I've got my eye on a couple of characters that I want to do, and it would be.
I keep expanding mine, and for those that don't know too, we're going to be doing this online UFO conference, and I'm sorry that it's taken so long, but it's busy doing the live stream show a bunch of times a week, and so I'm pecking away at it, a few characters at a time. So this online UFO conference is going to be like a joke UFO conference. And we've got my characters, Dr. Stephen Greed and all these other ones, Corey No Good. And we've got Intel ladies. Oh, we got Richard Doe Scam. And so we're going to have most of the major players in conspiracy land, UFO land, doing this honest UFO conference where they try to sell people stuff. And it's going to be great. And Intel lady has graciously given me a few characters for that we're going to use. It's going to be great. And I'm hoping I'm going to get that done next, and we're going to debut it next month. We'll have a watch party, debut premiere party. And listen, just so everybody understands, I didn't make her take them out. I let her stay fully clothed during the whole production of the event, because I'm a quality director of creative projects, right?
Yes.
But it's not too late. Just put it out there, if we want to get some views, right? No, actually, you have to be careful on YouTube. That intro I have with dancing girls, they keep flagging it as bare breasts, and I'm like,
yeah, you can't have that.
They're covered, you know. I don't know. So, are you still making the woo content as well? Because I haven't checked in on that.
The woo. How dare you? Yeah, I do. No, I have to say, this doing Intel Lady has completely taken over, and I'm focusing much more on my Intel Lady channel and slightly neglecting my other channel. But my other channels, I don't know. I don't get a lot of views on my other channel particularly. I used to, and then I think I know why. I think I got a little bit shadow banned on YouTube actually because
it's the deep state.
It was a deep state. They're after me. I think it was actually to do with people commenting on my videos that were very much into the boo anon stuff.
Yeah, so they might have shadow banned you because.
And I think I got shadow banned.
Talking about that here, yeah.
Yeah, and I, as much as I would try and go through my comment section and remove stuff or try and steer people away from talking about stuff like that, it was impossible to keep up with. So I think that I got shadow banned because I actually have quite a lot of subscribers to that channel, and if you look at my viewing figures on my videos, you think it doesn't correlate. How can she have that many subscribers and like a couple of hundred views per video? So I think YouTube did a number on me for that, and it wasn't my fault, but there you go. For me, I'm happy to focus on Intel Lady, and I'm really enjoying the creativity of doing that. And you know what? I've watched these people for long enough to get the measure of them. And
yeah, we talked about this. Sometimes you write, right? And sometimes you just wing it.
Most of the time I wing it. I have to say, like the latest one that I did, Tarot by Janice, I just made it up as I went along and just winged it and winged it in more ways than one. And was just silly with it. And I didn't write anything. I think I write the QFS advert I wrote, and the MedBeds advert I wrote, and maybe one or two others. If I'm teaming up with somebody else, I will. I'm releasing one hopefully this weekend that I teamed up with a guy who's playing a character there's no way I could have played. And so I had to write that down because he gave me a bulk of what he'd filmed, and I've had to piece my character in.
Yeah, I did that. I did one where I was both characters, so that was fun because I had to film both and try to make it convincing that they were really talking to each other. So
I do that a lot. Yeah,
I know. I see that you do it. I was going to ask you for advice on mine because I was having a hard time, but I think I got it figured out.
You do have to write those.
I gotta share this MedBed advert because this is gold. This is absolute gold.
I love making that.
The MedBeds are a big, just so everybody understands the context, the MedBeds are a big scam that a lot of new age and UFO scammers are running around trying to convince people. We have Sarah R. Adams is selling MedBed sessions where she's telling people you're going to go through a Stargate, up through a star spaceship, meet the ETs, get in the MedBed, and then at the end she admits it's just a Skype call.
Yeah, amazing. But people are paying for this.
$250. Yeah,
it's mind-boggling, isn't it? That people would go, sign me up. It sounds good to me.
Oh, look, you're in a lab coat and everything. I have seen this previously, but I haven't. Look, we gotta watch. Look, this is the official, not just regular. This is the official MedBeds advert.
Is your belief failing you? Do you struggle with the basics, like climbing the stairs? Opening containers? Oh. And completing household chores? Oh. Are you frequently visiting your doctor? Don't you wish there was an easier way? Introducing Quantum MedBeds, the newest medical breakthrough brought to you by the good guys at the QFS. Our unique technology consists of a co-function interface from the guys at Hasbro and the Galactic Federation of Light. Our scientists have worked diligently to produce a medical miracle that can cure anything from acne to angina, colds to cancer, problems to brain aneurysms.
Oh, that's
No
good to know.
legs, no problem. Our unique quantum technology can grow new limbs in the time it takes to watch an episode of Grey's Anatomy. Fully funded by the QFS, our incredible tech will be offered completely free of charge, only if you're one of the good guys.
Yeah,
Quantum
right.
medbeds are only available to those truly awakened and experiencing 5D. For more information, please pay €11 a month to our Insiders Club at wardywardy.qfsmedbeds.com.
Oh no.
Those who question or disagree are simply just underdeveloped and will have to make do with paracetamol and antibiotics. Quantum medbeds. 5D yourself into better health.
Oh geez. Oh, that's just gold. And you know, but it is also sad that some people
Yeah.
are actually falling for that scam, you know.
Do you know what's worse, actually, is if you go into the comments section on that video, there is at least 2 comments of people who have seen the title and the thumbnail and gone, oh my God, yay, can't wait for the medbeds to roll out. I'm so excited and all this. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, they didn't even
no.
watch it. And they didn't even
No.
watch it. But I love that you put the word quantum in there, because that's another
yeah.
buzzword that a lot of these
Quantum.
clowns are using. All you have to
Everything's
do is
quantum.
put the word quantum in front of it. They talk about quantum computers. And look, I got a background. I have an education and background in computer science. And I can tell you with some degree of certainty that every one of these clowns that is running around talking about quantum AI and quantum computers has absolutely zero idea what they're talking about. They know nothing about quantum computers,
Yeah.
which are really in the beginning stage. And people are still trying to figure out how they're going to make it work and whether it is even going to work and what they'll be capable of.
Mm.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. My husband's a techie guy as well, and he's just amazed by the fact that they're even trying to, and they just make up stuff like Charlie Ward's like, it can read your heart. The quantum computer reads your heart. It knows if you're a good person.
No.
And that's when, but this is what they're going with. And Simon Parkes is doing the same thing. You know, if you're a good person, if you're a good guy, you'll get on those medbeds and you'll get the QFS. It's coming to you if you're good. If you're not good, then you're just going to have to settle with a normal bank account because it's not happening for you. You're not developed enough. But that was his excuse for everything. You know, if you're questioning,
you gotta have it out, you know.
Yeah, you're
I
underdeveloped.
love this. Sarah R. Adams, you know, when I tested her superpowers and then they weren't working on me, she came up with this elaborate excuse saying that I have some cursed ring. And I said, Sarah, I don't.
That sounds painful.
Used to. When I was in rock bands, I had 6 earrings in each ear, and I had all these necklaces, and I had rings on each finger and stuff. And I said, I have a wedding ring. And if that's the cursed ring that you're talking about that I have to get rid of, I don't think my wife would appreciate that.
That would be expensive.
But that was her out. Her out was, my superpowers aren't working on you because you have a cursed ring that's blocking my energies. And I'm like, oh, come on, you know. And we sent her a fake cancer patient, and she fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah,
she was telling him that she was shrinking his cancer cells, and he's going, knowing that he's not even sick. She had no idea he wasn't even sick. And thanks, Jackie O, for kind and generous £5 super sticker. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. I don't know where law enforcement is with some of these people, because if you're telling people for $250 that we're going to take you through a Stargate up to a spaceship and you're going to be healed, I don't know how law enforcement doesn't get involved and say that's outright consumer fraud.
I do. It's because it's all for entertainment purposes only. If
I
they
haven't
put
seen that
that,
disclaimer. I think some of them are going to start doing that, but I
they
haven't seen that
are.
disclaimer.
They are. Charlie Ward's been doing it for a long time. It's only a
Oh, it's
matter of time.
entertainment. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
only entertainment.
these videos are for entertainment purposes only, while he's telling you how to make your own hydroxy, moxy, floxy, woxy, loxy thing that we can't really probably say.
We can't say that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I
uh,
heard. And he's got some kind of secret water that's infused with that.
It does look like a wee sample to me.
You can't get sick if you drink this special water that we're selling on our website, you know?
It's just, it's...
Yeah, and M. Seeker of Truth is here. Big shout out to M. Seeker of Truth. We
Hey,
talked offline. We're gonna. I'm supposed to be on that show, and I can't wait because I think it's great, right? And you know, I know you guys have been doing a lot of these grift busting shows, and somebody left, and there's only so many slots. I was pissed because you got the slot. I was going to contact him and go, get me on there. And then I saw you on there, and I went, dude, she got the gig, and I didn't get the gig.
You do know we have guest hosts as well.
Yes. So that's what we're going to work out. I'm going to be a guest, and that's fine with me because I like what you guys are doing. And it's cool to have a whole panel of people that are familiar with these scams and these new age grifters to kind of educate the public. I consider what M. Seeker of Truth and you and others there are doing. It's like a public service. Try to, you know.
Yeah, and we all have very different ideas about things, and we all come from very different backgrounds. And what I absolutely love about Griftbusters is we do not live in an echo chamber, and we do not encourage echo chambers. We encourage a diversity of opinion, which is why we were happy to have Jordan Sather on as our guest host for Griftbusters 6, because not all of us agree with him. And some of us have been very vocal about not agreeing with everything Jordan has to say and believes in. But we had him on anyway, and he was perfectly polite and lovely and nice to chat to. And again, we don't live in an echo chamber, and we can agree on many things. And we did agree on many things. I have to admit,
I've been very harsh with him based on things that people have said he said that I have no proof that he said. So I have to take a step back and say, if I can't listen to him say what people told me he said, and it was specifically around autism, because I have an autistic child, and so you know, I threw him in with maybe the wrong crowd. And the other issue is that, you know, maybe he did fall in with the wrong crowd, and eventually he woke up. He recently has come out against David Wilcock and Corey Good and others. So to me, I'm going to keep an open mind, and I'm going to give him more of the benefit of the doubt. And hopefully someday I'll get to have a personal conversation and say, look, here's this email that somebody told me you said this. People said you said this about autism. I would prefer, before I crucify the guy, that I know exactly what he said or what his real beliefs about that specific issue are before I throw him under the bus. You know, it's easy though. You know what it is that people that are, you know, really don't like Corey Good and David Wilcock. They put him in there with those two guys, and it may not be the case. So, but I applaud M. Seeker of Truth, because I saw that he was going to be on there, and I went, "Whoo, that guy's brave," because this could go sideways real fast, and people turn against people. So Rick B, thanks for your kindness, your generosity, and support. A £2 super chat saying hi, everyone. Thank you for your kindness.
Can I just say, Rick B edits all my videos.
Oh, thank you, Rick B.
For both my channels.
That's a good friend to have. I got to do it. I got to do it largely myself, but now I have help in the form of Carrie, who's English, by the way. So see, I have I have some English help, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's spooky.
And M. Seeker of Truth says, yo, Stephen, Will of Cold Beer Confessional is here with his crew repping. Yeah, good to see you. We're having great attendance. I got to tell you, Intel Lady, I thought 1 p.m., all my audience is still hung over at 1 p.m. from the night before. There's going to be 10 people, but we have 95 people or something watching right now. I'm very happy with the attendance. And that's awesome. People that you brought in that probably maybe different time zones, whatever it is, I'm glad to have it. So, as far as Jordan, then were you surprised, or did you have preconceived notions that he was going to believe this or believe that, and were you surprised?
I went with an open mind.
Good for you.
And obviously, I spoke to him backstage before we went on, and he was really lovely, very polite, and very
I watched it, and I was
supportive.
I was surprised myself. I expected something different.
I mean, I watched him while he was on YouTube. I watched a lot of his videos, and he's sort of grown up. I don't mean to sound patronizing, because I'm not that much older than him. Well, I am. Am I kidding? Of course I am. I sort of, without patronizing him, I have watched him grow up a lot. And I think once he separated, and I said this to him on Griftbusters, I was so happy the day he walked away from Bory No Good and David Wilcock, because he needed to separate himself from that craziness, because he's a smart, oh God, I almost said he's a smart kid. I'm just making myself sound old now. He's a smart guy, and I think he'll do just fine by himself, go in his own way, and you grow and change. And as I've said, I've been very open and honest about, my background, and I've told you that, the woo side of things as well.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. I'm trying to keep a more open mind myself. And I'm not going to learn anything about people if I just only have skeptics here,
You've got to have people from all different backgrounds and whatnot. But I found with my journey, because I started my channel in 2015, and with my journey, it was amazing what I thought I knew at the start of it, and what I know now, which is I don't know anything. I set up that channel, and for me, it was all about just doing my little card readings, and then it became much more, and I started being more interested in conspiracy stuff and ufology and all that kind of stuff. But watched in horror, as in particularly last year and maybe even the year before, people that I admired were moving to taboo, and seeing that, it was like, I'm sitting there going, am I on my own, guys? Is anyone else here? Am I just sitting here by myself?
It's so crazy to me is I have so many friends and family, and they know I'm in the, they all know that I'm Mr. Conspiracy, and they would all bring me the boo stuff, and I would say, this is garbage. This is all garbage. And then, people get upset with me because they so desperately want to believe that stuff because it's telling them what they want to hear, Yeah, and Spooky is Carrie, who helps me here at the show.
Hey, Carrie.
She is currently editing together an out-of-context video of Lyman Sharks. It's pretty awesome so far. So what Carrie does is she takes stuff from the internet and just mixes it up, puts different music on it, puts these weird pans on it, and it's really good what she does. She does that for CW Channer largely, but she's starting to do other stuff. But
she did my David Shilcon one. The first David Shilcon one I ever did. She mixed with him and Corey doing the Cosmic Disclosure. I think the Gaia show that they did, and she mixed my David Shilcon in with it. Oh God, it was so funny. I loved it. So yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm kind of pissed though because I haven't gotten an out of context video yet. But she's doing you and CW Channer. You know what she said? She said, your whole show is out of context, so I don't need to do anything. Exactly. I'm like, thanks, right?
That's you told.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of this stuff is so, I want to applaud you for doing what you're doing, because for me, the first time I did one, I went, this stuff is so ridiculous that we should just make fun of it. We should just make fun of it because it's just so stupid and so ridiculous, some of the things these people say. And I was happy to find out that I'm not the only insane person out there that agreed with that way of doing things. And I think, from an educational standpoint, you and I both have more chance of waking people up doing it this way, like just showing like this is so stupid and so ridiculous and so funny you know, maybe people will wake up and go, yeah, this stuff these people are talking about is really weird, you know?
Which is why I do it, because I've always said to people, these sketches write themselves. They really
Mine
do.
too, yeah.
Because I'm literally just repeating what they're saying to their BitChute audiences, which is mainly where the stuff is now.
The ghetto of the internet now.
Yeah. And you know, it's so ludicrous. But people are going, wow, yeah, no, yeah, that is, oh God, yeah, you're so
Especially
right.
the boo stuff. It's so stupid.
Oh,
Biden's not in the real White House. He's not the real president, and Trump is still in charge of this and that.
It's
And I'm like,
amazing.
you people are
amazing.
Delusional, you know, absolutely delusional.
But I never run out of material ever, because it's just, and these new characters, they just pop up. New people pop up all the time. They usually end up on Charlie's show, and they start there, and then they start going on each other's shows and round tabling and all this. And this is what I saw.
It's just a bunch of liars. Yeah, it's just a bunch of liars that reinforce each other's lies. They all live in this delusional fantasy world where they have this secret information, right? And they, you know, one thing I noticed, and it's funny, is like Carrie, Cassidy, and Charlie Ward and Simon Parks, they all get together and they really do like pump up each other's egos when they have their conversations. They're like, Carrie's doing such amazing work to wake people up to what's really happening. She doesn't know anything. She's nuts, you know?
She visits a guy in prison who claims to go off planet, doesn't explain how he's going off planet and then taking himself back to prison again.
He's teleporting out of there. The aliens come in the middle of the night and they teleport Mark Richards out of his prison cell, and then he saves Earth, and then they teleport him back before the guards notice that he's gone. That's what happens, right?
I know, and you would. How wonderful of him to be so law-abiding like that. That, you know, those aliens could take him anywhere, but he's like, no, guys, come on, fair's fair. Take me back to prison. That's where I should be for a crime I didn't commit. This all makes perfect sense. Let's do it that way. And it's like,
and it also shows the desperation of some of these people. They're so desperate to sell these stories that they're willing to use literal convicted murderers as sources. And another dirty little secret that people don't know is that a lot of the sources that people like Carrie, Cassidy and others have been using are convicted pedophiles.
Yeah, so many of them.
There's so many of them. It's so crazy that people, and you know, we have Mikey Horn here from the Billy Meyer case, and he lost his mind because I called him on using a pedophile as proof that Billy Meyer got a laser gun. Billy Meyer got a laser gun from aliens, and what's his proof? A pedophile saw the hole in the tree, so it must be true. He lost his mind. Nobody calls these people on it, though.
No, they don't.
Or they don't know. They don't know that the person that they're quoting or using as a source is actually someone convicted of child-related sexual offenses.
And then there's the other side of it, where they use the children to garner sympathy and believe us because there are children here and children there, and they must be rescued from this underground, you know, deep underground military base, and this is
they're harvesting their adrenochrome,
and it's like, but where there's no one's showing any proof of this, which is why I did one of my earlier videos was a video called Dom Raider, and it was based upon I
saw that one, going into the underground bases to rescue. But this is what
children. She claims she does. She claims she's come out of nowhere and claimed that she's rescuing children from all the hundreds of deep underground military bases in the UK. So our tiny little island has hundreds of deep underground military bases filled with children. I mean, seriously, but everyone seems to believe her. And then she suddenly became a Christian. There's a pattern that they follow. They're like, oh, okay, I think I actually need to be Christian now. So she starts giving it, you know,
because the boo people prefer those people. So
and that's what they grift on, that, you know, oh, but I'm a good Christian, you know, blah blah blah. So I really stretched that character out to be somebody who talks about all of those things, but is also a Christian. And you know, I embellish the story. I said, you know, she's got this woman called Glenda who does Bible studies with her now. And at the end of
you fleshed out the character,
yeah. At the end of each one that I do, I call it the Great British Turd.
What do you think of the Griftbusters panel? I think that you have an interesting mix of people that I can tell have different beliefs, but you can still agree on some things, and I think that's very healthy. Have people, you know, that have different beliefs but can agree on some things and find some common ground between everyone. You know, when I have gone out on a limb to try to interview some of these more woo people, I always try to find some common ground, like things that we can agree on before we get into disagreeing on many different things. I think what Seeker of Truth is doing with the panel is very good, like, because you got to mix. You know, on the subject of these deep underground bases, there's another guy I covered named Jason Shurka, and he was telling people that there was these military operations under, you know, Washington, D.C., and they saved these children and all this different stuff, all the while collecting donations, right, and getting people behind his paywall. Yeah. And it's just, when you hear he does these videos where he's like, you know, operation update, and they all act like they have. And the other thing I love is briefings. They all say, the latest briefing I got, by the way, this is our briefing from Intel.
This is our briefing. Yeah.
But this idea that they're getting briefings is so ridiculous, because I always say this, like, generals get briefings, senators get briefings. Some clown on the internet talking about aliens and adrenochrome is not getting any briefings. No, it's garbage.
I mean, one of our Griftbusters, Will, served in the military. He knows what getting briefings is. He got actual briefings when he was in the military. So he's great at busting through this nonsense with people, because even the child rescue stuff that they talk about, will be able to talk about how you would do an extraction, and how the team would work, and how they would you know, organize who went where, and who communicated with who, and all this stuff. And then some woman comes along, ex-porn star, who claims she's rescuing children, and just comes and tells this absolute cock and bull story about how she rescued these children, and there was one that was like dying in her arms, and all this nonsense. And I walked into that building and I punched her in the face and dragged her out by her hair. And it's like, no, Will would just sit there and go, no, that would not happen. It would never happen. She wouldn't even be allowed to be anywhere near that operation. They would never pick some random ex-porn star.
It just wouldn't happen. Random crazy. And then we have this Lauren Pritchard, which we had here and we were covering. She's right now losing her mind, like yelling about me on her channel, saying that she's already rescued all these children and it's history and it's already done. And I'm like, well, show me one child that you rescued. Show me one. And she can't do it while she's still collecting donations. And she's almost defiant about it. Like, I don't have to work. God provides for me. No, you're begging for money on the internet, telling people you're saving children, and you can't show us one. She can't show one child she saved.
It was such an interesting interview. I don't know quite what happened before that interview started, but it's almost as if you went, here is this lovely field we're in now. In this field, there are a number of rabbit holes. Don't go down the rabbit holes. And she bounced into that field and went down every single rabbit hole. And you're like, oh God, come back.
And people were kind of critical. Like, as soon as you realized how nutty she was, you should have stopped the interview. And I was like, I want to see how far this rabbit hole goes. Exactly. Let's get into it. Let's see. Yeah. And lately now, her story gets even crazier, because now she's talking about she's saving children by remote viewing because somebody left a maintenance door open, as if you can remote view inside a building if they leave the maintenance door open for you, for your consciousness to fly in there. But if they don't leave the maintenance door open, that was her explanation for how she was able to remote view inside this beer factory. They left the maintenance door open. So she remote viewed in there, found out where all the children were. I mean, it's so ridiculous. People believe them, though.
They do. Why do they? It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing.
And I think pay rent. She refuses to pay rent, and she's still. people went after her, and I don't blame her for this, but she mentioned on my show that she doesn't pay for the internet. She just uses her neighbor's Wi-Fi. So people
She
are like,
steals.
she's stealing her neighbor's Wi-Fi to accuse people of being pedophiles all over. And, on a serious note, one of the reasons that I went back and forth, I almost flipped a coin and canceled on her. But then I talked to one of the beer companies that she's accusing of being satanic pedophiles, and very nice family-run business. They employ about 100 people, but it's still a family. It's not a huge corporation. It's a family-run beer business. They've been in business for 25 years, and they talked to me about all of the trouble and the damage that this woman caused, getting on local media, even to them. That she was on like Austin websites and stuff, accusing them of being satanic pedophiles, and all the damage it did to their reputation, people harassing them, believing those stories. And she was happy about it. She was glad that they,
It's awful.
and she has no proof of it. Her proof was, there was a child's girl's bow, like hair bow, on the ground out in front of the beer place. And that's a sign that they're satanic pedophiles. It's just, I don't know.
But this is the world that they live in, and it's exacerbated. It's stirred up by the Simon Parks and the Charlie Wards of the world, and the Madison Marquettes and the Great British Birds, and they do this. It's for the children. It's for the children, and this is happening. That's like the Wayfair cabinet stuff that. Can remember that Wayfair cabinet story and all this stuff, and it stirs people up. And if you use that subject, it pulls on everyone's heartstrings, and it makes everybody angry, because no one ever wants to think. But the thing is, when you're listening to these people and they're saying it's all right, we're going into the DOMs, we're rescuing children, we're putting them on the med beds, it's all happening. Your eyes are taken away from looking around for anything suspicious in where you live. That guy down the street who could be doing awful things, and you're not looking at them anymore, because you're listening to the people that are telling you they're rescuing all these children and being the heroes of the hour. And so you're like, oh, it's all right. It's all in hand, everyone. It's okay. This random woman from the UK is raiding DOMs and rescuing kids, and this ex-porn star is doing the same thing over here in the US. We don't need to bother about rescuing anyone. We're just,
I gotta find that porn star again. I'm gonna ask her for an interview.
She won't go on. This is the thing. She stays within her echo chamber, and this is this is the problem. This is the problem that I've got. And for all of those that were giving us Griftbusters heat for having Jordan Sather on, I repeat again.
Hey, he's brave enough to come on with you guys.
Yeah,
I would do it. Because I could get to ask him. Because I would do it for an opportunity to ask him some questions. Just a few questions, and I would be respectful. And
he would be respectful, because he is respectful, and you can have a proper conversation with him. But we do not. Griftbusters is not an echo chamber. We are from very different sides of the aisle on many, many things. I mean, I would imagine, much like you, Will's not into any of the woo stuff. Will finds the woo stuff hilarious and makes fun of it all the time, and probably would have no interest in my other channel whatsoever. And most people who watch Cold Beer Confessional would have zero interest in my other channel, but they like Intel Lady and they like what I'm doing there. And that's why I'm like, what, this is fine. You could take and leave me however and watch whatever you want to watch. But I'm pretty grounded, and I appreciate that people come from different backgrounds and have different ideas and opinions, and I'm not going to sit in a bloody echo chamber nodding along like all the grifters do, nodding at each other's nonsense. I'm gonna say, okay, this person I don't fully agree with, but it's okay to talk to him, because his opinion, we can find common ground. That's the other thing. You've got to find you will find common ground no matter who you're talking to. because that's life. It's just the internet makes you believe that there isn't common ground, that you're with that team or you're with that team. But in reality, in real life, when you're, in amongst regular people, you find common ground with people. They might not support the same sports team that you do. They might not have the same religion, but you could probably stand in a shop with them or in a petrol station and have a conversation with them to pass the time of day. That's reality. But the internet isn't reality. It's stirred up crazy pockets of lunacy, and everyone goes to their separate pockets and thinks that pocket is right and that pocket is right, and that's why I like being around diverse, different people with different opinions from me, with different ideas about things, so long as you are respectful and you're not rude or horrible. Then we can have a conversation, a calm one, and disagree calmly. And it's all good.
And respectfully, sure. Yeah, and respectfully. Yeah.
That's it.
You're right. I've been thinking lately that I don't want to have a bubble here or an echo chamber. And I've been welcoming more people of diverse interests. And I think that's very, very healthy. One of the things about the satanic pedophile rings that people see everywhere, though, don't you think that it's easy for people to believe that, because there are some things, like somebody mentioned Jimmy Savile, and we've got this information. Savile, sorry.
That's all right.
And we have this information about Epstein Island and Prince Andrew. So this is what there's some little tiny kernel of truth to some
there
of it.
Is.
Yeah.
And this is what does our heads in. And what I think I can speak for all the grift busters when I say this is what drives us up the wall, because there is a lot of truth in what has been said about. So there's a lot of dodgy stuff. I don't think for one second that my government is full of really honest people any more than I think American politics is full of really honest, decent people. I mean, you've literally got Commandant Lassard from the Police Academy movies running your country at the moment. It's horrifying.
Oh, man, I haven't thought about those movies in forever. I grew up on those movies.
So did I, and it's like he's Commandant Lassard. When you see him at the podium, it could be any one of the Police Academy movies, because he never knew what he was talking about.
I don't know how it is in England. Actually, I think your system might be a little bit better, but here, I just think they're all bought and paid for criminals, because the corporations own everyone. They own the judges, they own the senators, they own the congressmen, they own the president even.
Yeah,
totally. You're not getting there unless you sell out. And we have to get the money out of politics so people, get elected for the right reasons, not because they had the most money. And then they owe the most favors to the people that gave them all the money. So, we see it time and time again. These things, the politicians in this country, whatever the corporations that got them there want, they do. They've even shown that, like, Big Pharma wrote some of the laws and handed them off to the senators to get put into law, what they wanted. It's crazy.
Horrible.
I don't get into politics because I'm like, they're all criminals. I don't care. Yeah. We only have two sides. Your side is just as criminal as this other side. They're all criminals.
Yes,
right?
I agree. And that's kind of how I feel about British politics as well. I have yet to find a political party that I can relate to in any way. And I didn't vote for who we've got in, but
I didn't vote in this last election because I thought, but I didn't even vote. I'm like, I cannot vote for either of these two clowns. There's no way. One of them is a maniac and the other one is senile. Like, neither of these two, I wanted to write in Mickey Mouse, right?
Yeah.
He would have done a better job than these two. And right now in our country, things are going bad. Things are going
not good.
So bad. We're going to have these major supply chain, inflation's out the wazoo. Hey, let's turn off all the drilling here. So now gas is going to be twice as much as it was a year ago. I mean, it's up like 50%. It's crazy.
We've got an energy price hike here as well going on, and we're already panicking about how we're going to heat our house and afford to pay the bills this winter.
Yeah, I'm a real big guy. I'm real big on wood burners. I got access to lots of firewood because of my cabin. The cabin is 100% run by firewood. I have a backup propane heater and whatever, but the whole place is run from firewood, and I do that here too. But here I'm in the suburbs, so it's a little harder. But yeah, we supplement with the wood burning fireplace, and we have to. You got to do whatever you got to do. Armis Alion is Ali Owen is here and says, "Can I share Intel Ladies wig fun link, please?" Yes, absolutely, you can. But I may need to make you a moderator to do that. So I'll go over the chat. And I want to remind everybody that there is a link to subscribe to Intel Ladies channel. She really should have more subscribers than me. I think you work harder than me on some of the stuff that you do. So there's a link right in the About section of the video here. Go over there, smash that subscribe button, and let's encourage her to continue more of this great work that she's doing. And I'm trying to find this. I have to make this person a moderator here in order for them to be able to share a link. So 1 second.
It's not so much a wig I need. I need a new green screen because this one's got a big hole in it. So that's going to be my next purchase.
It's a little funky. You know what I did? I finally have done it. I have enough green screen to do like full body shots, like to stand in the scene and do the entire feet to head. And I'm excited about that because I haven't been able to do that before. Awesome. I got to clean out my garage and take over my garage. My wife will be very happy that I'm taking over yet another room in the house for my craziness, right? But there's nothing going on in that garage. It really is just junk, We moved 2 years ago. I still got, I got 25 boxes. I don't even know what's in them,
We have the same problem, and it was more than 2 years ago for us. So.
Yeah, I saw you did that big kitchen remodel, and I wanted to show my wife, but then I said no because then she's going to start making me do that. So I said nope, I won't share it. She doesn't need to know, right? Our house is in pretty good condition, but it really does need a new kitchen. So it's got these old wooden, crappy cabinets, and she's going to want me to redo the countertops, the floor, and the cabinets. So we're going to do that soon, though.
It's a nightmare, but it's worth it in the end.
You can buy Intel Lady a coffee and encourage her to do some excellent work. Or maybe it should be tea because, she's British. Did you know my mom was English and Irish, and I grew up with a lot of English and Irish culture.
Excellent.
And, to this day, I've never drank coffee. We always drank hot tea, so I still do that today.
Good, excellent. You don't put sugar in it, though. You shouldn't put sugar in it.
Yeah, I do.
If you're doing
or honey.
Oh, dear.
Or honey. Yeah, I do.
No, see, I'm a Yorkshire girl, so no, you don't put sugar in tea if you're
M Seeker of Truth, encouraging everybody, keep on subbing, guy. This lady deserves the views.
Thanks,
yes, she absolutely do. If I can do nothing else but to help you today, then I will consider today a good day because when I started, not a lot of people were helping me, and it's tough to get those subs up, and especially I remember to get to the 1,000 was like. To get to the YouTube pennies was like, it was so hard. And now it seems like, I'm getting a lot better with more people are finding me. It's like a ball rolling down the hill. That first part, you're pushing that boulder up the mountain by yourself. That's the hard part. But I think right now you're in a good position, and so am I, that now we're going to start pushing the boulder down that mountain. And that's a little bit easier.
It's so nice to see. I've got so many, YouTubers and I've got to shout out to CW Chanter as well because I've been on his show and we had a great chat, and he's always been really supportive of my work, and it's just so lovely to have so many YouTubers that are just really supportive and sharing my work and
those are the good ones though, because there are a lot of people that are too bitter and angry and competitive. Somehow I hate this. Like to me, it's like, I want to tell you something. I want to get something off my chest. Really,
go for it.
Because when you first start doing your thing, a few nasty negative people sent me links and I go, "Look, she's ripping you off," and I go, "What? I don't own an idea. Like,
Oh, I wonder who that
do
could be.
anybody could do a character, you know. It really was one person, and I went.
Yeah, I think
and
I might know who that was.
I said, you know, first of all, it's like it's basically we're both doing the Saturday Night Live version of ufology and conspiracy land, and I don't own that idea. Anybody can make characters. Anybody can, you know. But people are bitter and nasty, and I always think that somebody else's success never takes away from mine. I'm happy for people, and I was happy to find somebody as insane as me, quite honestly. Like, she's just as insane as me for doing this, right?
It's fun though, isn't it? It's at least we can have. I do make myself laugh sometimes when I'm putting ideas together. I'm like, oh God, it's just, you know, if you're passionate enough about it to be amused by stuff that you're doing, then I guess you're doing it properly, aren't you? You need to keep doing it.
And some of the stuff just gets absolutely ridiculous. And then it's so funny for me is that, you know, I got a lot of family that doesn't really watch my show, and I don't blame them. They're not into the subject, so
none of them watch mine. Yeah.
But the funny thing is they always catch the worst. They'll tune in on the worst. Like, I did the thing with David Jacobs because he was asking girls for panties. And I was like, and I'm on the internet, like sniffing panties and a mask and stuff and talking about alien spooge. That's the one that my relatives tune into.
Of course.
They're like, Steve, what the hell is your show about? I'm like, what do you mean? They go, I don't know. I turned on your show and you were like sniffing panties and yelling and screaming in some mask. And I went, yeah, that's what we do. And that's just what we do here, you know?
Yeah. And thank God my family don't, my relatives don't watch my stuff. I had a conversation with my dad today, and he's like, and I said, oh, I'm chatting to somebody tonight. I'm doing a little interview with someone tonight, and he's like, on the telly, and I'm like, no, Dad, not on the telly, on YouTube. He's like, oh right, oh is it your spiritual stuff? I'm like, no, Dad, no, Dad. And he's like, what then? I'm like, doesn't matter, Dad. It doesn't. I can't explain it.
Yeah, it's me dressing up like crazy people.
Yeah, I dick around in wigs, Dad. Yeah. I dress up in old man jumpers and I crawl across my garden. Oh God, people keep saying to me, what on earth must your neighbours think of you when you're doing your Mad Max Maddie adventures and running around your garden, low crawling across my lawn and stuff? I'm like, I think that God knows there must be a lot of questions. No one's ever asked me.
You mentioned a lot of props and weird stuff. You're probably in the same boat I am. Like, I go to thrift stores and look for weird stuff that I can use. I just went to a thrift store and bought some dresses. That'll tell you a little bit about my life, because my wife is 5 foot and I'm 6'4". So I tried to borrow her stuff and she was like, what are you doing? You look ridiculous. That dress doesn't fit you. And I'm like, this is not a conversation we should be having, you know? And it's so funny. I had to get panties to do the panty sniffing, and she's like, I'm just going to buy you new ones because that's gross. You're not allowed to sniff my panties live on YouTube. So we got some new ones. It's okay.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go new for that. I'm very lucky. I've got a supplier now. I have the wonderful Caroline who she works.
She's your you got a wardrobe person.
She's my wardrobe person now. She works in, what would you call it, a thrift store. We call them charity shops here, and or op shops if you're in New Zealand, and she'll send me pictures of like sparkly dresses, just the ugliest clothes, but all the Lyman sweaters. She keeps me in Lyman jumpers, which is brilliant. So it's great. When
you guys have a lot of weird
to Lyman
terms
as well. It's brilliant.
You guys have a lot of weird terms for stuff. Like, I worked with a British guy. And I swear he comes to my desk one day and he says, excuse me, hey, Stephen, you got a rubber? And I was like, and no, but let me tell the story because it's so funny. I go, yeah, do you really need one right now? I keep some in my wallet. And this is a long time ago before I was married. So he goes, yeah, I just need to borrow a rubber, mate. You got a rubber? And I went, okay. So I go in my wallet and I hand him a condom. And he goes, no, mate, I need to fix something. He needed an eraser. right? An eraser in England is a rubber. I'm handing him condoms. I thought he wanted, and then the funniest thing is I go, "We're going to use it right now?" And he goes, "Yeah, I need it now, mate." He was talking about erasers. Or the term "knock me up," right? And he, if a girl in England says, "Oh, come on and knock me up later," she doesn't mean bang her and impregnate her. That just means to knock for her, right?
No. We know that as if you've been knocked up, you've got pregnant. We know
some
that
term like that. Yeah.
We know that term. Yeah. Oh, there's loads. Yeah. There's loads.
Yeah, I'm probably remembering it wrong. Yeah, but there's a lot of weird language differences. Yeah. The British English and American English are two completely, totally different. Well, they're 90% similar, but that 10% difference is really, really strange. Right?
It's such a different culture. I know we speak the same language, but having been married to my husband for 11 years, we still have
that filthy American. Yeah.
We still have moments where he has to stop and go, "Jen, are you being sarcastic or sure?" And he says, I have to check with you because I've got such a dry sense of humor that he's like, I don't know I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not. And that's after 11 years of marriage. So he treads carefully with these things. It's probably the right thing to do, but there's all sorts. But Simon Parkes does that classic where he talks about the difference between British words and American British words. So in the UK, we say we're going to turn on the tap. Now in America, it's the faucet. But we say tap. It's the extra patronizing. I'm going to teach you about Americanisms and the big difference.
There's Aussies as well. Yeah. Aussies have their own weird stuff as well. Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
I don't want to keep you too much longer. I'm sure you got things to do with your family, and I've got to get my kids off the bus shortly. So what are your plans for the immediate future? You're going to be on M Seekers of Truth's Grift Busters. You're making new sketches. Is there anything else that you're working on that we should let people know about?
I think that's more than enough, don't you? I mean, good grief. I've got 2 kids and, a household to deal with as well. So it's a wonder I can get everything done. And I'm loving being on Griftbusters, and I hope that I do them proud.
I was proud to see. I was glad to see you there, even though I think you took my gig, So,
look, you come on,
my gig.
It's not my decision to make.
I'm just busting your chops, and I will be on there as a guest, so I'm still going to get my shot. That's fine, when I'm on there, I'm going to try to knock you out of your square.
Well, I was hoping I could bring you on as like a show and tell, so I could say, well, today we're going to be talking about, say David Wilcock's hover cars, and then go, and here's my research. Here's Stephen Cambion from Truthseekers, and then I'll take credit. You talk for me.
I told M Seeker of Truth, I said, I've got a lot of information that I could bring that would benefit people, and I'd be happy to do that. And I think, some collaboration between the channels that are exposing these cons and these grifts, it would amplify both of our voices. So I'm all for it. Absolutely all for it.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be great. It'd be awesome to have you on board and plus some grifts. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Okay, well, I'm going to throw you out of here, and we're going to wrap things up. I want to thank you for taking the time and finally getting to do this. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but the time zones, and you're a busy lady, right? She's got a real life and stuff. And probably got a social life. I don't have
a social life. I
got nothing. Life. I got nothing going on. Yeah, I'm still in lockdown, and even though I don't need to be, because I just don't like people. So.
I'm the same. I'm quite happy in my house by myself, not socializing.
Yeah, isn't that funny? It's like I've been an introvert my whole life, so I didn't know it, but I was preparing for the pandemic my whole life. What do you want me to do? Stay in my house, not talk to people, not go outside? This is perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
no
this
problem.
Is absolutely perfect for me. Yeah, so I want to thank everybody for joining us. And I want to once again remind you, the link to her channel is in the description box. Let's get her a boost. We've had 100 people watching. If we could get even half of you guys to go over there, that's a big bump for her. Get over there and smash her subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you'll know when she's got new things coming. And yeah, we're going to throw you out of here so you could go. I don't know what English people do. Are you like drinking
dinner?
drinking tea and eating crumpets? My mom used to make crumpets. We used to have tea and crumpets. Yeah,
I love a crumpet.
Are English muffins really English muffins? Do you know what those are?
I mean, I eat them when I'm English. I don't know the origin.
And they must be real. Okay. I thought that was the thing. Yeah.
Oh, they're real.
All right. Well, you have a good evening, and try not to be a stranger. And I'm hoping that I'll see you on M Seeker of Truth's channel and become a guest. That would be great. I would love to do that. Let's make it happen.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me on, Stephen.
Yeah.
Love your channel, and thank you. And it's been fun chatting.
All right. Thanks for your time. All right, boys and girls, we finally got Intel Lady here, and it was a fun and lighthearted conversation, and I knew that it would be, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do it. And there's not many people doing this strange, weird thing that both of us seem to be doing, which is to lampoon and make fun of the ridiculousness of all of this. So until next time, friends, thank you so much for being here, all of you. What great attendance we had today. I was so happy to see that. Thanks to my guest, Intel Lady, and M Seeker of Truth, and the whole crew for being here to support that. Until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.
Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Wonderful people like you who enjoy this show send pledges in the form of super chats, super stickers, super thanks, PayPal, or Cash App. Instructions for how to help are in the description. You can also join our Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month, you can get extra content. Patreon supporters get a backstage pass, early access to all our production videos before they are distributed publicly, Stephen Cambion's music, private writings, a monthly show journal, and more. You can also become a YouTube channel member for $5 a month. A YouTube membership includes all of the Patreon benefits, plus a special members badge, priority reply to video comments, and the live chat, plus a monthly members-only video. We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors, for supporting Truth Seekers. Thank you for your generosity and support. Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Now there's a great way to support these broadcasts and show your support. Please be sure and check out our merchandise store. Links to our 2 merchandise online stores are in the links to this video or podcast. The Amazon storefront ships super quickly in the United States, Great Britain, and in many more places. Amazon may not ship to your country or location. If that's the case, hit our second merchandise link in the description and visit our Redbubble storefront. Merchandise from our Redbubble storefront ships worldwide, but may take longer than Amazon. We've got a great deal of super high quality merchandise for you to choose from, including t-shirts, phone cases, sweatshirts, and even pillows. The feedback from our products have been overwhelmingly great. Quality products and fast shipping. People all over the world are buying some merchandise and showing their support of the show. Praise the cash! Praise the cash! Praise the cash! We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors, who are buying some merchandise and helping us to continue this journey. Thanks for being here. This is Truthseekers with your host, Stephen Campion. Please rate, like and comment on our videos or podcasts. If you are listening to an audio podcast, please rate us 5 stars to help us rise in the search rankings. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to an audio podcast, we love and appreciate you listeners, but you are missing the live tapings. All our shows are recorded live with video feed. We'd love you to come be a part of our live broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. Head on over to YouTube, click the search tool, the little magnifying glass, put Truthseekers, one word in the search bar, and hit enter. You'll see a strange and mysterious guy with sunglasses. That means you found the channel. Go there, smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to receive up-to-date info on our YouTube channel. We welcome you to be a part of our live taping and our chat group during the live broadcasts. Seek the truth. Speak the truth. This is Truthseekers. Truthseekers.